What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Now, first, I would like to give my condolences and give a nice rest in peace to O.j.Simpson. For the kids who don't know who O.j.Simpson is, I'm doing this video to talk about not only his death, but some of the things he's done and how he got a little more notoriety from just football to being a murderer. So before we get into it, we're going to read a statement from his kids. And it say, on April 10th, our father, Ordinal James Simpson, succumbed to his battle with cancer. He was surrounded by his children and grandchildren. During this time of transition, his family asked that you please respect their wishes for privacy and grace. Not ask for grace, but the internet ain't giving it. The Simpson family. Now, OJ was a known football player for a very long time. Okay? He was football, Heisman, he did all that stuff, right? OJ has a total of 5 children. Now, his most notorious known thing for is allegedly, we don't know, we'll never know, killing his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and also her friend. Now, there were a lot of talk about this in the 90s. I remember growing up and I heard a lot about it. I even remember when I came home from school hearing that, watching the news, and my grandparents and my mom watching the news, that he was on a high-speed chase in L.A., like crazy bananas. But he was married to Nicole Simpson, who he shares 2 children with. We're going to get into all his children soon. Basically, they were married for a minute. He met her when she was 18 at a restaurant. They were married, and Nicole was basically saying, hey, there were some abuse allegations, and she left OJ, and then this is where it comes a little tricky. This is where they said that his name is Ron. He also passed away at Nicole's home around that time. He was also murdered. Now, people were saying that Ron was her friend. Then people were saying that her and Ron were in a relationship. Now, I remember hearing first it was the friend and it was the relationship. So I was kind of like, the older I got, and this case got talked about so much. This happened in 94, 95, and it's been 31 years. 31 years this has happened. And this is the most talked about case in connection to O.J. Simpson. So from what it said, Nicole was at home. She left him. And basically someone came, killed Nicole, stabbed her to death, and then stabbed her friend to death. Now, O.J. Simpson, they looked at him first because, number one, as they do, and I want to get some clarity. Number one, when you are an ex-husband or a husband, you are looked at first. If you are a parent and your child dies in your home, near your home, you're looked at first. That's just the number one thing that detectives do. But they took on to this because a lot of people were saying that, not just the police reports, that a lot of people were saying that, hey, he said he was going to off her, unalive her. If anything happens, this is who it was. There were police reports, basically, that there were abuse. Police was called out a lot, and she left him and took her 2 kids and went somewhere else in California in a condo. She had a condo in California. Now, what's crazy is OJ called a friend. He had a warrant out for his arrest. He had bailed out. I think he had a warrant or he bailed out. Let me know in the comment section. OJ had contacted a friend because nobody wanted to deal with him then. Okay? OJ got the friend Bronco car. Had him drive. All of a sudden, I guess they found out OJ was in the car. OJ shook the police officers like he did on that field. O.J. Simpson went on a high-speed chase without wrecking the car. Now, every time we hear about a high-speed chase, somebody wrecks the car. O.J. Simpson was that man. in LA. I guess he felt like because of the Rodney King situation, like, you ain't gonna get me, allegedly, right? Like, shaking and driving. But they said he had a weapon in the car as well. So eventually they called OJ. I guess they brought him in for questioning, and then I believe he got an attorney, and he got out. Now, around that time he was out, he did get to attend Nicole's funeral with his 2 children. Now, if he didn't attend it, let them know that he did something, but he did attend the funeral with his 2 children, his 2 youngest children, that he shared with Nicole. Now, a lot of people was upset because there was a lot of tension, and this brings a lot of racial tension because you have some black people who believe it, some black people believe he did not do it. Some black people felt like he was doing, we're going to get into how he got not guilty, that it was a justice thing that they were fighting for, and they was upset. It's a lot into this case that's just crazy. I'm not going to get into Nicole's autopsy things. You guys want to look that up, you can, but it was pretty bad and it was pretty horrible how her and Ron had passed. Okay, and I believe they passed July 4th. It was in July 1995. He did show up to the funeral. Now, around that time, he had a high-profile case, and this is where Johnny Cochran got very, very known because his famous words about O.J. Simpson, when he put that gloves on and the gloves ripped, he said, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." That's what he said about the gloves, word for word. That was the most famous thing, that it does not fit his hands. His hands are too big. But what the prosecutors messed up was they had another glove underneath for him, allegedly. Now, also, it was evidence. So you had him put the gloves on. Now, Johnny Cochran took on this case with Robert Kardashian, who is Kim, Khloe, Courtney, and Robert Kardashian Jr. father. Now, they took on this case because there was a lot of loopholes in the case, and it felt like you were trying to justify a man for, allegedly, this is all what was the thing, his killing for his wife, who was a white woman. Now, Kris Jenner and Robert had some words of being offended because, and her ex-husband Caitlyn too, because of the fact was they were family friends with OJ and Nicole. Kris Jenner was very great friends with Nicole. They were staying in the same neighborhoods. They went shopping and all that forth. The kids knew their kids. They were just known. And Robert Kardashian was a very high-profile lawyer in LA. So this was one of his top famous cases that he's ever had entirety. At first, he didn't want to do it because he was sitting on the breaks. He didn't know, and he was friends, and they all were like family. They all known each other. So for him, he was kind of off the fence about it. So guys, I'm going to play a couple of clips from the trials, and I will be back with more commentary. We're going to talk about a lot more things after.
Entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder upon Ronald Lyle Goldman. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is this your verdict? So say you one, so say you all.
It was almost surreal. I had a sense that we were in good shape when I saw the jurors. And I turned to OJ and I said,
All right, Deputy Jax, would you just take a step back, please? Thank you. All right, records reflect that Mr. Simpson has both gloves. Yes.
Mr. Simpson's indicating that his fingers are all the way into the glove wrong.
All right. Thank you, counsel.
So he wasn't found guilty, and, Robert was surprised as well, but Johnny Cochran did his homework. Johnny Cochran passed away in 2005. Robert passed away in 2003, okay? And a lot of families were hurt and upset. Here's the thing. I think this case lasted from June or July until October. It was the longest running case. Johnny Cochran did his homework, and that's when Johnny Cochran became one of the best lawyers besides Robert Kardashian to get people off. Now, this is all allegedly, but they are. Now, they were great lawyers that people wanted to come to after this case, and so forth. Now, O.J. had always had the cloud over that he was basically Nicole Brown's killer for the longest. Even in interviews, even till now, that is always looming over his head. So we're going to go in a couple of clips, and then I'll be back with more commentary.
Not ask me another question about the case.
I will never ask you again.
We won't have to talk about it anymore.
Just did you do it?
No, I didn't. Nope. Did not do it.
So as you guys know, O.J. had a total of 5 kids. One was deceased by the age of 2. That is his oldest daughter. He has, I forgot how to say her name, but I know it's Sydney and Justin. He has another son who is a chef who just went off the grid. No one has seen him. No one has heard anything from him. Now, I remember growing up and hearing in the 70s he had a daughter, a second oldest daughter who was before his oldest son with his previous wife. She had, before her second birthday, she passed away in a pool in an accident at the home. I remember my grandfather saying ever since then, it's just, his career hasn't been right. He hasn't been right. It totally messed him up. I remember hearing my grandfather give him grace about that. He also, like I said, he met Nicole when she was 18. He was a football player at that time, and they was together around that time. Now, O.J. has had his own situations go on with DUIs and so forth. His kids, after 6 years of her passing, the kids moved to Florida with, I think it was Florida. Hope I'm right. Sydney, and that's Sydney now, and that's his son. They moved, not the one that's hiding, that's the chef, but they moved with Nicole's parents, and they've been there with the family. Sydney graduated, is married, have children. I haven't heard much about Justin. Justin like 35, so he's in the same age group. His oldest daughter, who is 55, she's enjoying her life and everything. And these are pictures that show that when he found out he had pancreatic cancer, he was saying last year he was trying to fight it, we were starting to see pictures of surfacing of his children, except for the one that's a chef. He shared with his first wife, going to see him, buying groceries, so forth. So a lot of controversies that happened since his death. And Caitlyn Jenner, who I said was Kris Jenner's ex-husband, whatever. Shout out to It's On Site, said good riddance, O.J.Simpson. Now, a lot of people was upset about that because a lot of people were saying, well, wasn't that your best friend? You don't speak on the dead. Well, how you know you not next? Like, they said a lot of things because she off someone around the time of the accident. So Mark Lamont Hill said O.J. Simpson was an abusive liar who abandoned his community long before he killed 2 people in cold blood. His acquittal for murder was the correct and necessary result of a racist criminal legal system, but he's still a monster, not a martyr. Okay? O.J. Simpson is dead. Don't make him a hero or a martyr. So that's what he said. The reason why he said this is because there's a lot of things coming out saying that they was upset about Rodney King's death, and that's why he was acquitted. Jamila Hill also said, I'm sure people on this app will be very responsible with the news that O.J. Simpson has died. So basically she's saying a lot of people feel like they're responsible to say that he passed, he got sick. That's the responsibility that goes on. And I kind of don't agree with it because O.J. Simpson had a lot going on, okay? And then someone said, I am sick AF of O.J. Simpson died without confessing he killed that lady. Now we'll never know. No, we will never know because of the fact is, we don't know who did it. He even joked and said, I could be in L.A. I could find the real killer when he went to go to L.A. before he moved to Las Vegas. So I think he was hinting he knew who the killer was and didn't. Here is the thing. O.J. Simpson, what he did was wrong, yes. But a lot of blacks felt like it was a legal thing because of what happened to Rodney King and how the LAPD beat him brutally. If you grew up in the 90s, we heard this case for years. Even in the 2000s, it died down, I would say, by 2002, 2003. We didn't hear no more about it because O.J. really kind of disappeared, came in and out. The only time we heard about O.J. Simpson was basically when he had like a DUI charge like he did or he got into trouble, okay? I feel like that tarnished, when that happened, it tarnished his legacy. When the allegations came out of him being abusive, it tarnished his legacy. When people was hearing that, it tarnished his legacy because that's the only thing we're going to remember of O.J. Simpson. Yes, we remember he was a great football player. Yes, we remember he won the Heisman Trophy. Yes, we remember those things, but they will always be overshadowed by him being a killer of Nicole Brown Simpson and also Ron. I feel like a lot of people saying that, oh, he's going to hell. First of all, let's say this. We don't know where he went, but I tell you this. Everybody that was part of that case has passed on, even the prosecutors. I would say this. I think one is still alive. I hope so. But everybody has passed on with some kind of sickness, okay? It's out of our hands where he went because the only person that can give the ruling in the hurt, his ruling, is Peter and God. Peter met him at the gate. Then they probably had a discussion. And if he lied to Peter and God knew the answer, we know where O.J. is. That's out of our hands. Respect the dead. You always respect the dead no matter what they did, bad or wrong, because of the fact is you can always end up with the dead. The reason I always say, even when I did my video about being careful of the dead, is the fact is that you never know when your time is up, and two, you don't know how they lived their life and how things were on their last days. You don't know where they went or what happened because it can be haunted. And right now, with what we're going through with the spiritual warfare, it's a lot going on. So please be mindful. You can tell the truth, but have some respect to it. Caitlyn Jenner, what she said was rude as heck. Ain't nobody asked her to speak. She always want attention. Be mindful of who you put your mouth on, who is deceased and can't defend themselves, because you never know when God is going to sit there and put it on you or something you did. They're going to bring up what Caitlyn Jenner did forever, just like they did with O.J. Simpson. Just like when you wanted to become a transgender into the trans community because you killed a woman in a car accident, they're going to always bring that up. So be mindful bringing up O.J. and what he done when you know your laundry is dirty and your closet is filthy. Period. Okay? I send my prayers to their family and condolences. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment sections. Later.